Only God could rescue me. Only God could set me free. Only God. Only God. Only God.
Hello, welcome to Only God Rescued Me. I'm Lisa Meister, your host, and I'm delighted to bring back to you today our very special Kardia Joi. Welcome, Kardia.
So good to be back.
So glad to have you back. We have had you several times before, and I will have the links to all of those songs that you have presented for us in the show notes. She's also on Spotify, so if any of her songs reach out to you, please go and buy them and support her. I have them all on my playlist. I listen to them all the time. They really minister to me. The way that your songs come to you and your healing process is just beautiful, Kardia.
Mm-hmm. I am so thankful. Such a gift from God. It's just a gift from God.
Can you remind our guests, our listeners today, how you come across your songs? Because they're not normal songs. They're songs of healing, songs of God coming into your pain, to your questions, and Him answering.
Yeah, it really is contemplating. I feel like I'm usually contemplating something, or oftentimes crisis, grief, the big things, the memories that come back, the deep troubles of life, either for myself or others. And usually my heart is stirring, and I'm just asking God, where are you? What's that about? And so often start to just give me phrases, and I just start to write them down, usually sit down at my keyboard, and out flows a song. And it's just
they usually come
process.
To you from start to finish?
It depends. I've had most of them come in one setting, and then several of them have been years in process too, which is really neat. There are a couple that have just a really neat message to them, but they're not finished. And then sometimes a couple of years later, a couple of months later, he'll revisit it and just show me more answers. And sometimes those are even more meaningful because they've been stewing, brewing in me. And the waiting on Him for that too is actually a really neat process as well.
Almost like you're battling for your healing line by line.
Yes. That is so well put. Very poetic of you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's true.
Now you're a better friend than before we started this podcast.
Oh, this is good.
What I love about you is that you don't come off trying to be pretentious. You don't come off trying to be, look what I've figured out and I've put this to song. You're just real. You're a survivor, and you're just like the rest of us. And let me share my battle with you.
Yes. And I appreciate people who are willing to take the time to enter in, and we can fellowship through that.
Now, today's song, I've been waiting and waiting. We've been having trouble connecting to get this done, but the song is small. And of all your songs, this is the one I have on repeat, and I listen to it over and over again. It touches my heart. I had you send it to me, but I have it memorized. And listening to you just hashing this out with God and thinking what you must have been going through as you were getting this, it just is amazing to me. And so that we can sit down today and talk about it. I woke up all excited this morning. It's like, yes, this is the day for small. And I have been waiting for this forever. But we had to go through your album song by song. We couldn't jump to small. You told me we had to go through the order that it came in. So the long suffering, one of the fruits of the Spirit, this was long suffering for me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thought it might help people flow with it, maybe. But
I think when I get to heaven, God will give me my small crown.
Oh, well deserved.
Well deserved. So, what was going on in your life? Are you willing to share?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the time that I wrote this, I had been coming through the utter shock of beginning to put pieces together of my life. I've said, I don't know if I've said it here, how often I've said it, but I always said that I grew up in a wonderful Christian home. It was like this phrase, I grew up in a wonderful Christian home. And the bottom dropped out on all of that. There were so many things that I had not talked about.
Can I pause you real quick?
Mm-hmm.
The wonderful Christian home, was that programmed into you? Was that told you by your family over and over and over again? Where did that phrase come from?
I don't know. I don't recall the origin of it, actually, but it's puzzling to me because on the one hand, people always said that our family was that we were a beautiful family or something, and we just all line up so perfectly. We were always supposed to perform for everyone, and it was the parents in charge, and we really didn't have any voice. So of course we were enviable to other families because we were also buttoned down. And so it was, I think, a pressure that I felt to say that it was good. Also, by the time I finally had a chance to say anything, I do wonder if it was programmed into me. I have not been able to identify that, but it was a pressure as well that I was supposed to make the family look good. And so I towed that line for a long time until I started asking any questions and actually talking about how I felt. And that was a whole nother story. I don't understand how a home of anger and parents fighting and talking bad about everyone in the church and the community, not really, and abusing all of us. I'm not really sure how that was a wonderful Christian family, but there you go. And I wanted to be accepted too, and so it just seemed like a good line. I wasn't trying to be deceitful. It was just the pressure. It was the mindset that I had been under. So for most of my life, for many decades, I had been in that mindset. And then there were several categories of my abuse that had been coming to light. And I was just reeling because my whole identity had changed. Because to be acceptable, I had to fit the narrative, which was not just my family of origin, but but there was a family line for one side in particular that I had to uphold. And I was under the microscope with all of them. And so to break out of that, it's just to begin to talk about the way it was. And as soon as I began to talk about it, that I was ostracized and cut off completely by the whole family. And so not only was I dealing with like the sudden death of everyone, almost everyone. I lost almost everyone.
So you're talking parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, like the whole shebang.
And I'm talking about a clan. I'm talking in my upbringing, I wasn't allowed to have hardly anyone else in my life. So I lost my entire community. I lost family of origin. I lost all family. That was every holiday. That was every vacation, almost every vacation. The other vacations were part of abuse. So it was my world, and it was the way that I could be approved by God. It was made very clear that if you were acceptable before God, it went basically through the priesthood of this family. They wouldn't word it that way, but it was very clear. You were to make them all happy. And then even when you did absolutely everything, you did 110% of what they said, it wasn't even acceptable. It was kind of like, well, why are you doing that? So my view of God was just so skewed. So it was just, I was terrified of him, understandably, because this was the spiritual side of the family. Pastors, missionaries, all the things. And so to begin to have memories coming back and realizing that all of this was a lie, and that they had put me as the front face, the cover story of this, for the cover for their lies, using my love for God, my innocence, using that. They would abuse me, use me at the cost of me, but take any benefit that I had, they took for themselves. So my footing was already weak. Like my foundation of my having any existence at all was already so decimated. I didn't view myself as a whole person. I didn't view myself as an adult. And by this time I was approaching 40. So that's alarming. Anyone should be very alarmed that at that age, you're still being smothered by these people. And so then again, all these categories of the abuse were coming to me, and I just felt so small. All my life, I had felt small. Whenever I would rise up, whenever I'd say anything in confidence, if I believed something was true, I'd be tweaked, I'd be corrected. Anytime I had any confidence, I was taken down methodically, intentionally. It was intentional. And so all this loss, trying to figure out who God really was, one of the gifts God has given me over time is I wanted to go see the world. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see things. And I found often as I would see other places and meet people that I would get to just see the work of God in other places, because I'd had exposure to a lot, in a sense, in my upbringing. But again, it was also controlled, and I ached to see the hand of God. So one of the ways he's granted me that desire of my heart is just taking my breath away, is how much I've been able to travel and see things, just little trips here and there. It's nothing exotic, just really thankful to be able to do that, and just the gift of God. So that alone, just being able to taste the goodness of God, that he would hear the cries of my heart. I don't know that I set out to say, God, would you let me take a trip? I don't know that we can afford that. I don't know that, it was there. It's like God just heard the cry of my heart. And so this was one of those answers to the cry of my heart that I don't even know that I could utter. And I was on a trip. I'd been asked to help somebody with something. And so I was on a flight, and it was over, I believe it was over Utah, because I was looking down on these canyons, and I was just in awe. I had been able to do some really neat hiking in mountains. Really, really love being in nature. So I knew it was to be in those places and to feel so small. I love looking at mountains and seeing, it was a way of seeing the grandeur of God, like, who take my breath away. It's beautiful. It's just, he would minister to me through his creation. I've been in mountains, I've been in valleys, hiking and all of that. And to be in this plane my heart was just hurting. I was grieving, finding out that, I thought I'd been this innocent Christian girl, did not know I'd been used in such horrific ways. And so I was feeling so small, just looking out the plane window and looking down at this incredible, incredible scenery. I think kind of like the Grand Canyon. I don't even know for sure what area it was. I just know it was in that southwest area. And I felt so small in the airplane. I knew how small you feel when you're down in that. It was so beautiful. And I began to just write out some of these lyrics. And I think this is one where it began, and they had several lines on whatever little paper I had with me on the plane, and then went home to my keyboard, and this poured out. And I can dive into that if you'd like, with where my heart was going. But go ahead.
Does the music come with you with the words?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Almost always. It just, it's just melodies that just come to me. So
Can I just
beautiful.
take a quick aside? Because I met you in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How many years ago was it now? It was a few years ago.
I don't remember what year. I don't know.
I think it was 3 years ago. I think it was 3, a little more than 3.
Okay.
And I asked you to write an opening for the podcast. And you sat down, I got it. And immediately sat down, wrote it out. It just immediately came
It
to
was,
like, it was amazing watching you.
right there. It's just right there.
So if you love my intro and outro, that is Kardia. And I got to watch her in process doing it. It was like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And I'm like,
That was so
I need
special.
to have you as a friend. This
I need
is
to
just
have you as a friend too.
amazing.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Yeah, just you said it and it was right there. It was just, yeah, it was right there.
And then your husband asked me, what do you use for your audio? And then he was like, a gaming headset. And I'm like, well, you can roll your eyes at me all you want, but that's what I got. And then he helped me to figure out mics and Zoom boxes. I don't know what you call it. And helped me to change the podcast around. So you're quite the duo, which I appreciate tremendously. So just a quick aside.
Yes, I'm so thankful for him. He's amazing.
Yeah. So that was quite the trip to Tulsa.
Yes, it was. It was incredible to meet you.
Yeah, I was there to meet you. Absolutely. That was fun. All right, back to small. So let's dive in. This wonderful song. So you saw the mountains, and this is what came.
Yeah, and I was describing mountains, but again, what was interesting about this was I'm not great at topography. Is that the right word? But it was more like canyons. I don't know. It wasn't. They were definitely. That's right. It did fly over mountains as well, but just these deep crevices of the earth and the beauty of it. It's incredible. Verse lyrics. I find that I'm small in a great big world and small everywhere I go. To discover I'm big to an awesome God who wants to hear what I say. Oh, could this be? Could this be? I was just beginning to feel at that point the goodness of God, that God saw me, that I wasn't invisible, that I didn't have to go through the screening, the filters, the filters that meant shutting me down, that all of my origin had meant. And I'm not tall of stature. And so I like to say I'm height challenged. And so I'm not terribly short, but no one would call me tall. And so I already feel small. I feel short. I can't reach things. And then in the grandeur of creation, feeling so small, and the awe that God would see me, beginning to recognize that He not only saw me, but He leans down. He wants to hear what I have to say. Wow, could this be?
Could this be? Could this be? So just opening that idea. Weren't quite sure yet, though.
Yeah. Just starting to think, I think this is what's true. I don't think it's so much that, it's that I absolutely that I want to hear from Him, but He actually likes it to be a conversation. That was very new to me, very, very new. Yeah, I mean, one insight too on that, in my upbringing, I would be put through, and this is no exaggeration, 2 hours of indoctrinating by my mom. If I began to verbalize any concern about my life, by this time I was well into my 20s and not allowed to make a single decision with my life, down to clothing, food. If I was gone longer, if I wasn't back within like a 10-minute time frame of what they wanted, I would be interrogated on it. And I just thought that was normal. I knew nobody else was in my situation, but when that's all that you don't know that there's major, major red flags. So if I began to express any struggle over my life or like question, I would be taken into my parents' room and sat down for 2 hours. And I don't even know what we cover, but basically brainwashing, interrogation, and mind control. And then I would be made to pray out loud. And if my prayers did not say what she wanted me to say, I was made to get down. I had to be down on my knees. And then when I would be praying, and in that position, I think I did just begin to just cry out. My heart would begin to cry out to God, and I would be corrected, and she would start to tell me what I was supposed to say to God. So I wasn't even allowed to pray freely. So that would, that affects your psyche too.
It makes you feel very small,
very
or
small.
like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I had no voice, And if I did, it was
identity completely stripped away.
Yep, very much. But boy, did she have an ego. She has an ego. It makes no sense.
So coming from that, this is a big shift. Could it be?
Yes.
It's a huge shift right there.
Yes. A very, very big trust, a very big trust that I could even ask the question, could I be safe asking that? I needed an advocate. I needed someone to see how it really was, someone who wouldn't just believe my parents' narrative. Anytime I tried to tell anything other than what the narrative was, they'd also positioned people in my life so that I was not safe speaking out in any way. So that's where this song goes too, is that can I be small and you be big? Because I also felt like I always had to show up bigger than I was. I needed to present strong. It didn't matter if I was completely falling apart. I had to show up strong. So to be able to, on the one hand, I needed to be able to be seen, but also not be under pressure. Can I be small and you be big? Can I rest that all that is, everything that's in my life, this massive mess, can I rest that all that is safely held within your capable hands? He was capable of defending me. He was capable of healing my heart, capable of giving me voice, capable of seeing, knowing, and caring for me in the aftermath of everything. And can I safely believe? See, I was taught to believe things, like I just said. I was forced to believe things. Can I safely believe? If I test this, is it true? Can I pound on this and find it to not budge? Are you solidly true? Can I safely believe that you will work for my good? Can I be small and let you show up big? Because realizing the magnitude of what I'd been through, I needed to know that it was a big advocate, not just somebody who would even just listen. I needed an ear to hear me, and I needed validated. I needed cared for. But it needed to be somebody that an empathetic ear was very helpful at that point. But I needed something bigger. I needed someone bigger than that too. And I'm so thankful for the handful of people that were there in those initial years. A lot of them had no clue the depth of it, no clue. I look back and I know that what they thought it was and what it was were two very, very different things. They thought that the one thing was massive, and that's enough to be just really massive. That was one of so many things. They didn't even know that, but I'm thankful for them that they were kind. I'm thankful for the people who were there as I began to heal. And that moves into this next section of what feels big to me seems so small with the weight of the worst of the world. All my life, if I brought up anything, I was always talked down to like, well, you should just be thankful. You should just be so thankful. Because you could have it so much worse. They had, some of them may have known what was going on and were just part of the system to keep me in line. Most of them had no clue how it really, really was. But I'm just remembering too that we had a miscarriage and with our third, and I was just in reeking pain. This was long before I began even knowing what I had been through. And our pastor came by, and I had already been through so much with that miscarriage. That's like a whole nother wretched story of people being abusive, and on top of the grief of the loss of a child. And so the pastor came over, and he was kind of condescendingly just patting me on the head a little bit. He and his wife were just kind of did their little thing that they had to do to show care. And then told us about how we needed to pray for so-and-so in the church. And it did its job. It made me stop crying, made me, get back to my problems they don't matter. Everybody else matters. And I don't remember what the situation was, but loss of a baby, I know that whatever was brought up was not that. I'm sorry that they were going through whatever it was. We're not talking about similar problems. It was.
But you got the message.
Yeah, I did. And I heard them. They told me another time, not that much later, said, yeah, whenever we go to minister to people, we always make sure that we have somebody to tell them about, so that they won't focus on themselves, and they'll remember to pray about other people, so they won't be pitying themselves.
Because you don't matter.
Yeah. So I got the message. Yeah. Now, when I say what feels big to me seems so small with the weight of the worst of the world, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the pain in my heart when I know about the tragedies, the horrific suffering around the world, right? Even with what I've been through, my heart breaks, and I've been through a lot. My heart breaks for those who hurt, those who are suffering today. My heart breaks for them. When I'm aware of it, I pray for them. When I become aware of something, I am not pitying myself, but I felt like I don't feel like I can even be validated in my pain. I don't feel like I know that I don't feel like what I've been through even touches the weight of the worst of the world, even though several of the categories actually, they do correlate sometimes to those very things. So even in writing this, I feel like I'm underspeaking some of what I was talking about.
Well, and also you always had to look perfect.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You play the part.
Yes.
And you have to be stoic and make the family look good.
Yep.
So you have a baby and lose it, look stoic. Be stoic, make us look good. It doesn't matter. You don't matter. Keep going. Keep ministering to other people.
Yep.
It's family over you.
Yes.
And then you feel the need to keep that going because everybody around you is going to keep pushing that narrative.
Yes.
Even the pastor.
And my role in the family was also not just to be stoic, not just to be there. I had to be the happy one. I had to be happy. And if I didn't show up happy, a lot of pressure.
That's nasty.
Yeah. I needed to
nasty.
Cheer everyone up. Yeah.
That's a lot of energy.
Yeah. It was very draining, very, very exhausting. I felt old from the time I was young.
Do you still feel that pressure?
Not very much. Not often.
Really?
Not very much. I think as God has validated me, I know that it's right for me to show up as I am. I don't think that I'm recovered. Not really from that, I guess. But I think in comparison to the way it was, I don't feel the pressure the way I did because my contexts. I'm just so thankful for the pieces in my life. So yes, to some degree, but not like I did. But I think that is a go-to as well. Yeah. Probably more than I realized.
When you're playing that, do you recognize it?
Increasingly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can recognize this is off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough to kick this stuff out.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff has been programmed in at such a deep level and pushed and pushed and I mean, 2 hours on your knees daily.
It was sitting for probably an hour 45, 15 of the whole knee kneeling thing.
Yeah. But if I hope the listeners can take this in.
Thank you.
I mean, this goes deep. And then
Tentacles,
you have to,
tentacles into every part of me.
so while you can say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, but then it's connected to other memories and it's going to come out in other situations. So even it's, you've got to start pulling it out in all these different levels because it's been encoded deeply into your brain. It's tough.
Yes. And then
You have to learn it over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes when I'm showing up the way I feel like I have to show up in a situation, well, you don't have to be that way.
Yes, it's that easy.
Oh, but if I don't, you're uncomfortable.
Right.
Because most people are not willing to be honest with themselves, not really honest with themselves about what they're bringing to the table or what they're demanding of the people around them.
Yeah. Right.
And people like us we were conditioned to fill in the gap everywhere. In my opinion, did you feel that way? Like,
Oh, sure.
whatever,
Absolutely. There's so many roles that we are forced to play. And so you see a role that needs to be played and you just find yourself playing it and you don't know why, or you don't even realize you're doing it.
Yes. Yes.
And then you hate yourself for it, because later you look back and you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or you find yourself just disappearing in situations and then you're like, why did I do that? I mean, it's a whole spectrum of things that can happen. You just want to be you.
The dysfunction I function around. I'm not talking about my family life here. Not that we have it all together, but I'm thinking of another setting I'm in where I'm like the dysfunction, and so usually I'll just let people do what they want to do because I just really don't feel like fighting. I'm like, if you're going to be that way, I'm not taking that on. And then this week somebody's like, well, you have the say. I thought, oh, but do I? If I say the way it is, I'm not sure you'd respond quite like that, but okay.
Yeah.
Do you really want me to
say?
Yeah. Do you really want me to show up as like
you don't?
Exactly.
I can guarantee you don't, because you have never heard what I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they'll come, why were you so quiet?
Right.
And I'm like, was I? Was I quiet? I didn't know that. And then you have to reevaluate. Oh, yeah, I wasn't talking. Why wasn't I talking? I don't know. So then that means something was off in the situation.
Yes.
And then you're trying to figure out, well, what was off? What wasn't I safe in? And then there's a whole set. I mean, there's just always.
And some of them, I really wish they could know just how much was going through my head about them.
Yeah.
A lot going on up there. I didn't say. And they really ought to be grateful I didn't say it. That's thinking it.
Yeah.
Should be glad I kept my mouth shut.
I figured some things out that you don't want to know about yourself. So
you should feel very small right now, but clearly you don't. So I'll just have this little entertainment in my head. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So Lisa, what do you think? Oh, nothing. I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
I'll just take it to the Lord. I will not walk into this trap. Thank you very much.
Yes. That a lot of the time. Yep.
Yeah. I find quiet a very good place to go.
Yes. Yeah.
You think too about how we have been surrounded with families that were filled with unsafe, dangerous criminals. And the people that they put around us, auxiliary people, were unsafe criminals. And now we're supposed to feel safe out and about.
That's a good point.
It's tough to evaluate, but you see red flags and you're like, not feeling it.
Yep.
So it's easier to go into quiet. There's several people close to us that I just go gray rock. I look at the ground. I don't even look at them, and I will not talk to them at all.
Smart.
Patrick's like, why won't you talk to them? I'm like, they are not worth my attention. They are not worth my time. They're dangerous, and I am out.
Would you say that's growth for you? Is that growth?
Well, some people might say no.
But I think to heal, we need to do some things sometimes that might appear socially awkward. Fine. I've spent decades of my life making other people comfortable. And come on, the situation wasn't even comfortable. It was so toxic.
Yeah.
So y'all can handle me just healing a little bit. Thank you.
Right. And they don't understand the danger elements we've dealt with.
No.
I mean, serious danger. And it's, I can't explain that to you, nor do I feel the need to.
Yeah.
So this is me. Deal with it or not. I really don't care. It's just to the point where I don't care, which is nice.
Neat. Yeah. It's a neat thing to be getting further down the road to that place where we can acknowledge that I need space to process this, and whether or not people understand is not the issue here. I need to think about this and need to feel what I need to feel. It's good this part of the healing is allowing ourselves to feel the way it is, not the way we were told it is when it's not.
Yeah. I used to be an over-explainer. Not anymore.
Well, that's my life goal, is to get there. So
let me help you. Don't over-explain.
Thank you.
Yeah. Every time you need a reminder, call me and I'll say, don't over-explain. Because they don't have to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. They have no right. There's things that I know that they don't. And if they have exhibited certain behaviors that are huge, waving red flags, and it took me a long time to figure out red flags. Mm-hmm. That meme, I thought it was a carnival. Now I know that they're red flags. And some of them are nuclear. And I'm like, okay, I've been burned enough. Now I know what these are, and I'm not having it. And I'm not going to tell you, you're showing me red flags. You certainly aren't going to do that to people that are showing you red flags. Say, I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah. But the other tough part of it is that I do think we need to be understood. It comes out of this stuff is that we need to be understood, but finding where somebody can hear. And I don't know that anybody ever really, really can understand. So does that make sense? Like we need to be heard and understood why we do what we do. But honestly, at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much another person can even really understand. We try, but that's why each of us need Jesus. Jesus is the one who was there, saw it, and is walking this with us personally in a way that he understands to a depth that we can't even verbalize. Even to those who really care, the ones who are safe, we can even try, and we can understand to a degree, but isn't it in our psyche, in our being, in all of it, it is so hard and deep. I don't know that we really can comprehend for each other, and where we can just show up in compassion. But I think to demand it of other people is understandable. I think it's understandable that we need to be gracious with ourselves with that. But at the same time, understand we can't really demand that of other people, because no one, even if they understand, they're not capable of bringing the healing that only Jesus can bring to us. There is no other way around it.
Right. There's so many things that I don't even get about me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even explain some things to me. Like Patrick's like, can you explain this to me? And I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't, and that's what I love about Can You Be Big and I Be Small, because I know he gets it.
Yeah.
And they're so comforting to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the biggest part for me, I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because he can untangle us. We're tangled. We're completely tangled.
Yeah.
But he is slowly and compassionately untangling us in beautiful ways.
Mm-hmm. So those capable hands, when I reference his capable hands, that's what I mean. He's fully capable. Even those who love us the most, really love us, really care about us, they're not able to be 100% on all the time. They'll still misunderstand us. We'll still hurt them. They'll still hurt us. And only God is really, really the fully capable one to uphold us to our core, to the depth of us, to the depth of our grief, in a way that we really need to be able to fall back on and rest in. He is our strength. He is the strength. He is in reality the healer. That's the capable hands.
So how did you move from could this be to his capable hands?
I had such a sense when I was writing it that he was hearing me, that in the asking is almost actually in a sense rhetorical for me.
Oh.
Because all the people who claimed to know him so well and were so cruel was not who I was encountering, when I would really, in the silence, the chaotic silence of my heart too, but in the dead silence, know that there was a presence hearing the words I couldn't utter, the pain that I can't even describe. So it was sitting with that. That's a lot of what was encapsulated in sitting in that seat. You know, an airplane seat is not exactly a luxury seat. You're in a small seat in a small object in a great big sky over a great big earth, you know, and that sense of being, even in that, I think even in flying, there was something about that, just, you know, separated a little bit from earth, you know, separated from where it happened. There's a little bit of a feeling. I think being able to look at the clouds, you know, there's something about that almost helps me feel closer to God too. You're flying up through the clouds. It was a clear day. Plus it's clear skies in the Southwest a lot of the time. But just asking the questions, uttering the question and putting it out there and starting to realize, because I dwell in the truth giver, it started to make sense to me that these voices who are saying and portraying God as, you have to come through me. But Jesus said, no one comes to the Father but through me, Jesus said. But all of them, no one goes to the Father but through me, they say. Mockery of God. So if my voice was as I was coming into the truth and starting to get, it's like just dwelling in the true one, the one who is true, began to clear the skies. I'm thinking about how clear the skies are in the Southwest. I grew up in an area that's not clear skies, and I grew up in the Midwest. A lot of cloudy days, and I remember flying back there one time and just going through the layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of clouds, and just layers and layers. They're like, do we ever get through them? Oh, and then suddenly, boom! There was gray skies, and we were on the runway. Whew. That's a bit how foggy I think the thoughts feel. All of that cloudiness is what my mind feels like, felt like about God. There's something about the Southwest skies that are clear and you can see, and there's not a lot of clouds all the time, like where I grew up. And that's a picture of how my mind began to be as I would dwell in the light, if I can say in the light. I hope I'm portraying a picture okay, of the fogginess of lies and the light and the sun of God shining down light and truth on me. As I would sit in that, it began to be rhetorical questions of, do I matter? Do I matter at all? I almost feel like at the beginning of the song, if honestly, I almost feel like it was more like, could this be? It was like could this be? It was honestly a shy little the little girl in me raising my hand. Could this be? Would you hear me? Would you see me? And then by the second verse, more like, do I matter at all? Because then I'm looking at the big weight of the worst of the world. And by the end of that, do I matter at all? I mean, even if my problems are massive, do they matter in the scope of that tragedy overseas and that tragedy and this and that? Does even the immensity of my grief, does it matter at all? So that's where he just showed me. But if a sparrow falls and he takes notice, and there's not a hair on my head that he doesn't know, and I'm worth more than sparrows, if I'm worth more than that, and he loves sparrows, a sparrow, how big is a sparrow? I'm bigger than a sparrow. I'm not big, but I'm bigger than a sparrow. And he takes notice. And that just spoke to my heart. I do matter. It doesn't matter how much bigger another thing seems or may be. My bigness, the bigness of my problem, it matters. I have a God who it matters to. The graven image God of my upbringing, and it was a false God. That God, that graven image, it hates the weak. It abuses the weak. It silences the cries of the broken and the hurting, the abused. It's silent. That's their God. They're inflated. They're prideful. They're sinful. All these religious people I grew up around, oh, they'd hate that I called them that. They name Jesus. They keep to all the theological strong things. They do all the things, but their heart is far from him, and he knows it. And how do I know he knows that? Because they do not hear the cry of the abused. They do not listen. They are unteachable. They show everything that is not of the one true God, not the graven image God that they teach. And they're so proud of the fact that they're in the faith. I don't see the fruit, but I see a God who...
You see the rotten fruit.
Yes. All I'm doing is looking at the fruit. Yeah. I know what you believe by your fruit. And so it was like I was rising up as I'm small, but I've got a big God who sees right through all that. He sees right through it, and he's not persuaded by their pathetic acting. Pathetic. And anyone who believes them is also pathetic. If people believe that, they are showing who they really are. If you cannot discern, if you cannot see through that, you can't watch the fruit of those lives. I used to hurt over the ones who abandoned me, who cut me off. I used to be hurt by it. Now I'm not hurt. Like, you showed me who you really were. You're just like them. If that's what you admire, if your faith requires perfect performance and what is actually going on doesn't matter to you, that's who you are. And I didn't lose anything by losing you. Now, it took me a long time to get to that.
They firmly picked their side. They firmly picked their God.
Yeah. Yep. And if they really,
knowingly.
Yes. And if they are really in Christ, they need to deal with that. They at some point need to deal with the truth, the way the truth is. Not what they want to believe is true, because it's uncomfortable to find out that my family was not a wonderful Christian family. It's uncomfortable for everyone I come from. It's uncomfortable, and it should be, because it is. Uncomfortable is a nice way to put it. So to come into, instead of that, where they made me feel small, can I be small and you be big? Can I rest at all that is safely? I could be safe for the first time in my life. I could be safe. My heart could be safe believing this about him. And that's when it's like just my eyes were opening. Go ahead.
There was never safety in God before. He was the bad guy.
Oh, good grief. Yeah, no.
And now he's the good guy.
Yeah. He was the impossible guy. He was the impossible to please, just like my father and all of them.
What a beautiful turnaround to see God, who he really is.
Yes.
Finally get that picture and understanding. Mm-hmm. And that's where healing can really start to come in once you get that.
Yes. Yep. And to again, if the fog can slowly be cleared, from our hearts and our heads to see. That leads into, oh God, you do see. God, you see. Oh God, you know. You see. And I repeat that because I don't repeat a lot of my lyrics. A lot of times my lyrics don't repeat. So when I repeat it, actually, it's kind of a little bit big deal. Oh God, you see. Oh God, you know. Oh God, you see. You know. The depth, I'm looking down on canyons, okay? The depth and the breadth of what I face. It didn't matter if other people would say that even what I've been through, if other people poo-poo it or don't grasp it, can't grasp it, whatever. God knows the depth and the breadth of what I face. It's not small. And yet all of it, even what they made me do, whatever, all of it, nothing separates me from him. Nothing. They can't separate me from him. The grief can't separate me from him. And it can't be separated from the greatness, not just his love, because I also felt benevolently loved, like I was hard to love.
I've never found that to be true.
It's ludicrous. I loved big. I really loved big. Nothing could separate me from the greatness. So in all this grandeur, the depth and all of it, the greatness of his love for me. And then, can you be big and can I be small? Can I trust you with it? All of it. Can I trust you with all of it? My troubles from the greatest, the biggest stuff to the least. Can my little things matter? Because when you start to deal with all of this, how awful it is, I almost feel like I can't pray about the small things because now they don't feel like I even have. Does that make sense? Like sometimes I can feel like, can I even pray over the small things? And he still wants to hear it all, from the greatest to the least. And then I love that. I love these words he gave me. Would you look on me? And that's a beautiful thing because I don't like being seen. There's a lot of ways I don't like being seen. It's hard for me to be seen. I really, really struggle. That might seem crazy, but I want to be invisible. So it's a beautiful thing. At the same time, I want to be seen by him. I need to know that he notices, that he sees the nuances. He sees the cruelty. He sees the pain. He sees when I'm doing a great job and nobody notices, nobody knows. He sees that too. Would you look on me and show me who you are, who you really are, all that we've talked about. Who are you really for truth? In truth, who are you? Remind me that you love to help the weak. He doesn't, again, do this just benevolently out of obligation. He's not obligated to help us, so he'll come help us, because that's also how God was portrayed to me. But he loves to help the weak. And so to just come into that place of recognizing he wants to hear what I have to say. Doesn't matter if other people don't want to hear it. That's okay. That's okay. He wants to hear. If ever we were heard, my goodness, that he would want to hear what we have to say. And one of the things that we need, I should say, I need to, and I don't know if others can relate to this, but there's a lot of emphasis on demeaning us. Not just as the survivors, but in the church as a whole. You just need to worship the greatness of God. You owe him. And it's a manipulation. There's a whole lot behind that, agendas. There's sinister agendas behind those seemingly spiritual messages. But when you silence the people that God says, cry out to me, lift up your voice. And it's not just, we're not just supposed to lift up our voice in worship or cry out for everybody else. He wants us to cry out for ourselves, and he wants to hear us. And if the environments that we're in don't want us and tell us, because I don't know if others go through this, but most of my spiritual experiences, it's made very clear, kind of like, are you done? It's all about Jesus. Okay. Absolutely. I'm all for that. but he's not trying to silence me like you are. You've got some other agenda going on.
Isn't that wonderful? Because we were silenced for so long. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I want to hear you, and then I want to give you a voice. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Like, I think what still blows me away, and I'm in a place right now of revisiting this concept of a conversation with God that, I wrote this probably approaching, probably about 8 years ago. So I was going to say approaching a decade ago, and it was huge and just a huge gift to my heart and something I dwelled on. But he revisits things, brings things back around. I just feel like he's revisiting again with me that he still wants to hear.
I blew your earbud out.
Yeah. I just feel like he's still revisiting with me that he wants to hear what I have to say. He still wants to hear me, and he still wants to speak to me. And so I'm asking in a fresh way, can you show me who you are again? I need to hear it again. A lot of things have changed in my life. There's a lot of the places that were really, really raw aren't as raw. And so almost in that I can feel like, well, do you still want to hear what I have to say? Because I've got things that I can still poo-poo and act like, well, they're not that big a deal, but they're a really big deal to me. And I believe he really wants to hear it.
It's a big deal to him too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I need that comfort today. Really.
Yeah. Yep. Because we're not small to him. Mm-hmm. We're important to him. He's got intentionality with us. If he's got the numbers of hairs on our head numbered, and we're the apple of his eye, and our name is imprinted on his hand, and he rejoices over us with singing, we are not small. And we certainly didn't experience that growing up. So it is good news for the neglected.
Yeah. One of the things I thought so many times in the first several years was the grief of the fact that all of it happened under the guise of Christianity. And I wished that it was a different religion I could turn to. I wished I'd hear testimonies of people saying, I grew up under this or that, and then I found Jesus. And all of it was under the guise of that. And I'm grieving that and just like tearing my hair out to God. Like, I don't even get to leave it. I have to stay in this. Double whammy. But even as you just said what you said a couple breaths ago, it's like, it's not the same. It really isn't the same. Mm-mm. And I feel like I did get to change religions. I came into.
You did.
I did. I guess I did. It just that was a complexity, I guess. And I think a lot of us deal with it. I think in this circle, it's a very normal. This is where a lot of it takes place, is in the church, in quote Christian homes. Not all of it, but a lot of us are from that, and it can make it very complex to heal. At least I've struggled a lot with that.
Sure. Well, the Bible says many will come to me on that day and say, Lord, Lord, didn't we not heal the sick and raise the dead and do mighty miracles in your name? They went after the power.
Yes.
They went after manifestations. And he said, I never knew you. Get away from me, you workers of iniquity. And that's what we saw in our homes, workers of iniquity who were going after power.
Yeah.
All under the guise of Christianity, but it wasn't anything like the character of God. Mm-hmm. Not of God. And he calls it out. I never knew you. Get away from me.
I had never really noticed that passage until a few years before my awakening. And I remember that passage troubling me so much that many in the church, as I recall in Matthew, it's in a spiritual setting that's said. I think if I recall right, and when I just had seen that passage through the years, I didn't register it was in a spiritual setting, and that troubled me so deeply. It's just like that passage, it just really come off the page at me, and I was very troubled that if the wording is translated correctly, it was like the majority is not in him, and that wrecked me. I thought, that means there's fakery, that where a lot of us are faking it, and I had a hard time imagining that because it was so true to me. It was genuine from my heart. I was like, why would you do that? And I think God was using that passage to prepare me in many ways for what was to come, and all that you just described so well. That these were frauds, they were lies, and it's a deep comfort to me to know that God actually discerns. He discerns. He sees. He's not fooled. What a relief. What a relief.
Yeah.
That's the capable hands that I count on.
Patrick and I were reading Matthew 5 this morning, and it was talking about those who give their alms in front of everybody. They have their reward. And those what's the word when you don't eat? It's
Fasting?
escaping me. Fasting. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So when you fast and you let everybody know you're fasting, they have their reward. So the people that are living their Christianity, like our families, look how great I am. And I'm going to keep looking good and letting you know what a great Christian I am. The Stoic Christians, right? And they're going after the power, and they're wielding that power, and how magnanimous they are in front of everybody. They have their reward. And then he gives you the Lord's Prayer. And he says, but this is how you pray. Go into your closet. And this is your quiet space with God. And don't let anybody know what your right hand is from your left hand. And that is the secret place of the Most High. Yeah. And that's where we have this relationship. That's where you found, he loves me. I can be okay. And his personality and his character is trustworthy. And that we can lean in, and he's safe. And then we can begin to heal because he's not the bad guy. He is the good guy. And as we start to figure that out, that's an awakening of another beautiful sort. Because when we don't know who to trust, we know we can trust him.
Yes. Yes.
And it's a life-changing event for us survivors, for anybody.
Yes.
For anybody, but especially for survivors who have not felt safe anywhere. We can go in that secret place, and there is safety there. And so no matter what our survivors are going through today, and a lot of them are in very dangerous situations, they have safety with our Lord always.
Yeah.
It's beautiful because he will not make them small.
Yes. And someday we're all going to be safe. We're going to really be safe. Really. I think we're safer now than we feel. And I don't want to be insensitive to anything anybody's going through. I think every time I'm on here, there's something that's brewing, it's hurting. There's always something, an element somewhere where I'm concerned. Or I don't feel safe. And I think we're safer than we feel or we think now. But someday, we will truly, there is hope coming that we will be permanently safe, and all of our enemies will not be there. That's a really big comfort.
Right. Well, thank you so much. This was delightful. It was worth waiting for. I forgive you.
Oh, thank you.
But thank you for the gift of this song. It has been a blessing to my life. And
I'm so thankful. Can I just pray for the listeners? Just because I know this can touch some raw places. Can I just pray for them?
Please do.
Lord Jesus, I just lift up everyone who's this ear, this touches. I pray that you would meet them where they are. I pray that you would provide the safety that we need, that you would advocate for us in the hidden places where we cannot do that for ourselves. I pray that you would provide for, that you would protect, that you would intervene, that you would strengthen, you would help, you would uphold, lift up survivors today. Be with them. Help us in these circumstances that are scary and where we are really threatened, and it is concerning. I pray that you would fight for us and let us hold our peace. Pray that you'd bring peace that passes understanding, that would guard the hearts and minds of these precious people. I pray that we would have the courage to whisper or just cry out from our hearts again. And would you confirm to us that you're hearing us? Would you be very specially near and kind, especially helpful to those who are hurting the most today? Thank you. Thank you for hearing us. Thank you for being big enough that we can just rest in you. Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kardia, for being with us.
Oh, thank you so much. Always such a gift. Joy to be here.
It's always fun. And thank you, listeners, for being with us today. And God bless you on your journey. May you draw closer to Him.
Only God could rescue me. Only God could set me free. Only God.